In the grand halls of ancient Persia, where power hung thick in the air like incense, lived a young woman with an extraordinary secret. Her name was Esther, and behind her crown and royal robes lay a truth that could cost her everything. She was Jewish, living among those who might wish her people harm. But let me take you back to where it all began. Esther wasn't born into nobility. She was an orphan, raised by her cousin Mordecai, never dreaming she'd one day walk the marble corridors of a palace. Yet fate, or rather God's divine plan, had something remarkable in store for her. When King Xerxes sought a new queen, Esther's beauty caught his eye. But it wasn't just her outward appearance that won him over. There was something special about her, a quiet strength that would soon shake an empire to its core. Life in the palace wasn't all luxury and feasts. Esther carried the weight of her secret identity every day, watching, waiting, wondering why God had placed her in such a position. Then came the moment that would define her legacy, a plot so sinister it threatened to destroy every Jewish person in the kingdom. Haman, the king's trusted advisor, had convinced Xerxes to issue a decree. All Jews were to be eliminated. The news reached Esther through Mordecai, and suddenly everything became clear. This was why she had been chosen. This was her moment. But approaching the king uninvited meant certain death unless he extended his golden scepter. Even as queen, she wasn't exempt from this law. Imagine the courage it took, knowing each step toward his throne could be her last. Yet Esther's response still echoes through time. If I perish, I perish. After 3 days of fasting and prayer, she put on her royal robes and stepped into destiny. The king not only welcomed her but granted her request. Through her wisdom and bravery, she exposed Haman's plot and saved her people from destruction. This wasn't just a story of a beautiful queen. It was a testament to how God works through ordinary people in extraordinary ways. Esther's courage didn't come from her crown. It came from her conviction that she was placed in that palace for such a time as this. Today, Esther's story reminds us that sometimes our greatest challenges are actually our greatest purpose. When you find yourself in an unexpected position, facing impossible odds, remember, perhaps you too were chosen for such a time as this. In the end, one woman's courage changed the course of history. Through Esther, God showed that He never leaves His people without protection, and that sometimes salvation comes through those brave enough to say yes when everything in them wants to say no.